That's the way we're able to put our seal that says this is a Triple 100 word, no scripts, all authentic, all organic. Number 3 thing that we learned, visual stories. Cartoons, infographics, videos, you know, a picture tells 1,000 words. Number 3, participative transmedia. We're all co-authors of what's going on. We're all characters. It's not one story being cascaded down. We also built our own platform that has key interfaces with Facebook and Twitter. Hundreds of stories. So in sum, where this is going to is, I know a lot of people here in the advertising industry, but what we're learning is the way to do this is stories, movements, not ads. I'll breeze through the next couple of slides. 20 by 20 really flies by fast. So you can contact me. I shared with you some of the things we've figured out, some of the things we've done. I think the most important, the most interesting part is yet to come. It's the things we don't know yet. It's the things we want to do. And the vision for this company is really to make a difference in the world, to become a global agency with a marketing Filipino approach to things. So I think we can, that's why I just moved back from the US last May. I believe we can build this, this enterprise with Filipino talent, with Filipino creativity, and make a difference in the world of advertising and the world in general. Thank you very much.
Let's give it up for Sage Life Storyteller, Marketing Marvels, Andre Yap. Up next, let's welcome up Meet Space Adventure / social media surveyor, Chay Saputil.
Pwede na minum. Nawa to ka rin.
Hang on. So I thought they were going to read my bio, but since they're not, why? Because it's there. I've been working in corporate for about almost 20 years, but I did retire. It didn't take long though. I set up my own agency, but now I'm back in corporate with Wonderman. When people ask me why am I doing this, and I borrow this line from Greg Mallory, who's one of the first guys to climb Mount Everest. Someone asked me, why are you climbing Mount Everest? And his answer was, because it's there. So that's it. Why am I at Wonderman? I'm actually glad and almost sad to see familiar faces here, because you know, these are like a group of smart people. What else can you share with people who knows about Facebook, about Twitter, about social media? So I figured the best way is to share what I've recently, well, not so recently experienced. I attended South by Southwest. I don't know if you're aware of that. It's like one of the biggest conferences. And at the interactive session, there were 19,000 participants. So what I wanted to share is what I picked up from South by Southwest. And, you know, I've attended several sessions, but there was a recurring theme. And what was that theme about? It actually rooted in why do people do what they do. So if I borrow this again from Gary Zuka, and I'm looking at JV. Generally, what you do is something out of fear or out of love. You believe that? Right. So if you think about the things that you do, it's either out of fear or out of love. But then again, there are things that you do not have to do, but do anyway, like drink sanig and mojitos. Why do you do it? Because it's fun, right? So, one of the speakers, the recurrent theme in South by Southwest Interactive was actually about play. And one of the speakers was, the thing about South by Southwest, or South by, is that it was the birth of Foursquare, it was the birth of Twitter, and this guy said, Priestback is actually the founder of Scavenger. He talks about game layer being on top of the world. What is really game school is a game. You know, when you think about school, it would have challenges, players, you have incentives, you have enemies. But the thing about the way we do school right now is that, you know, you do well in the first quarter, you do well in the second quarter, you really have a bad third quarter, and you fail. It's not fair, right? You've been working hard just because of one bad quarter, you fail. So what he wanted to recommend is, why don't you change the game? Instead of something that's being graded, why don't we look at school as something that you gain experience? Who wouldn't want to be this guy, right? So you gain experience even if you don't do well. Even if you don't do well, you gain experience and you want to be this guy. So the students are not motivated to be from the standard guy to this super hump guy. So in terms of what he was doing, scavenger, he was talking about how do you motivate people to go to places such as, you know, that's popular with Group 1. One of the apps that he did was what he called scavenger. It's putting a game layer on top of the world. You're all familiar with Foursquare, right? Foursquare? Have you checked in? Are you getting the swarm badge? Not yet. Anyway, scavenger is, apart from checking in, you get points for not just checking in, for saying something, for snapping a picture, for playing with your food, and then as you get more points, you get rewards. And you know, believe it or not, people do this. He also had another concept, it's level up. His theory was, when you go to a place such as craft, you know, you have a promo in Groupon, you go there, you try it, and then you go away. But if you reward people for trying it, liking it, loving it, and inviting more people, then that's when you're gonna get your regulars, and you can reward regulars $10 for $40 for $40. So it's like playing a game. Okay. Another thing is purposeful play. So it was shown there. Foursquare, I remember my friend here, Wansi Ross, we were playing Mayors of Greenbelt. I need to watch a movie right now because Ross is the mayor. I need to watch a movie next week. So I need to be the mayor. This is evident in Group 1, Cash Cash Pinoy, and Sogo. It's a group play, you want to get the discounts. I don't know if you've seen Nike. This is like a play on top of this is really purposeful play. The more you exercise, the more rewards that you get. And if you go to Nivea right now and search for Rihanna, you get a piece of paper and you put it on top of your, in front of your webcam, and you get augmented reality. It's really making things fun, right? So if you're a brand, you wanted to create a game or develop a game where your people will follow you. Or you can change the game and have a brand that would be with your people. It needs to be memorable, because only if it's memorable can it be remarkable. So why climb Mount Everest? Because it's there. Thank you so much.
Give it up for Meet Space Adventure / social media surveyor, Petcha Kucha Chay. Up next, please welcome the Yoda of the youth and an environmental empress, Oposa. And can we request people again to move into the bar a little bit more as more people are coming and wanting to join us.
Alright, so good evening. I'm here and I'm expected to be talking about the environment. So I thought it would be appropriate to start with the theory. Not the theory of relativity or the theory of evolution. It's more important than that. And it's called the theory of love. Now, this theory is very simple. It just means that when you love something, you are inspired to protect it. And I don't know if I was a mermaid in my past life, but in this life I was given feet. So I learned to love the Philippine seas at a very young age. That's not one of my brothers, that's me. And I was out in the sea by the time I was about 3 or 4. I was rescuing sea turtles by the time I was 8. And I earned my diving license when I was 15. And you know what lover. So imagine how heartbroken I was when I saw this in the front page of Inquirer. And the online version was more powerful because it was tweeted 1,184 times and shared on Facebook 15,000 times. And when I was looking at the pictures from the investigation, I was crying. And I couldn't eat and I couldn't sleep. And I was thinking how it was like a breakup. But it was worse. Because boys are replaceable. But these marine resources are not. Right? And at that time, I was about to graduate college. That was in April this year. And I am not a lawyer, I'm not a scientist, and the only thing I know how to do is write and blog. So I wrote different government agencies. And one by one, they replied. So DENR said, oh, it's not our responsibility, talk to PAUI. So I went to PAUI and PAUI said, oh, it's not our responsibility, go to BFAR. And BFAR said, oh, let me look into this. And then a month after they said, let me check it out. And when I uploaded all those letters, it was read at the Wildlife Enforcement Network in an ASEAN conference. And after I did Plan A, B, and C, I had a few letters in the alphabet left. So I took my case to the Senate. And I spoke to the Senate. And now the government agencies concerned consulted me for environmental policies. I'm 23 years old. So we had an offline movement going on, but we also had an online conversation. And the people who were noisier on Twitter, like me, got together on Skype. And the remarkable thing is that we didn't know each other. And we came from different parts of the world. And not all of us were Filipino. And we talked and said, what do we do? And that's how Save Philippine Seas was born. And one of our projects was the Blog Action Day, where we united Filipinos here and abroad to blog about the Philippine Seas. And that poster that you see is a gift from Team Manila as part of their viral campaign to promote Philippine tourism. A few days later, this study came out, and JV talked about it. And this study declares the Philippines as the center of biodiversity in the world. It was featured on Fox, Yahoo, and National Geographic. So if Nina Aquino said that the Philippines is worth dying for, I think it's worth diving for. And one of my favorite discoveries was the shark, the inflatable shark. And I think sharks are the most fascinating species. So I wasn't very happy when I saw this web banner in the Manila Ocean Park website. Because, you know, in a span of over 400 years, there have only been 11 shark attacks in the Philippines. The last one was back in the 60s. And yet, we human beings kill about 70 to 100 million sharks a year. Now, this was taken in northern Philippines, where children and parents slaughter sharks together. And this is in southern Philippines, where there is an unregulated shark fitting thing going on. And like I said, you know, what I lack in experience and expertise, I make up for in persistence. So I wrote Manila Ocean Park, and once again uploaded it. And the point of my letter was, for an institution that claims to spearhead marine education, you're not doing your job. So, you know, why don't you just call it Shark Encounter? Because that's what it is. And in a few weeks, this turned to this. And the poster even has a little copy about saying no to sharks. Now, friends, this is where we are now. The human beings, us, we are the greatest threat to the environment. But at the same time, we are also its greatest hope. And we can rewrite the story of our country from the current state of marine adversity to marine biodiversity and the center of marine biodiversity. While we continue to plant trees and plant corals, we can also plant the world with hope. And we have to recognize the value of social media and promoting social change. And you know, people call me an environmentalist and an eco-warrior because I talk about marine conservation and global warming. But my real advocacy is this: to stop global warming. And I think the world and the World Wide Web are both very much polluted with cynicism and skepticism. And we, as social media practitioners and personalities, have the capacity to not just clean up coasts, but clean up minds and clean up hearts. So maraming salamat po.